Yeah, it looks like we are good in that front. This is game 1. This is a best of 5 series, my friends. And you know, I'm feeling like watching some Tavik right now.
I'm not one for standing around.
So obviously they're just waiting for the gates to open. 37 seconds. This isn't necessarily the offense that we're going to be having here on the side of Misfits. They could still swap things up at the end. The Mei is certainly interesting. I'm really not too sure if they would go forward with the offensive Mei. We now see Widowmaker entering a possible slot for this team.
What are we waiting for?
King's Row, pretty darn standard when it comes to early maps, just because it's a rather neutral map. Everybody agrees it's pretty well designed, and this is a stopwatch event as well, my friends. So the team that sets the fastest score will be the winners of this matchup. There's no coin flip, there is no sudden death, none of that nonsense here in this tournament. And the gates have opened up. The attack here coming on out for Misfits. All right, we see Pharaohs just kind of dueling in the skies right now, trying to find that opening. I'm actually rather intrigued to see the double Reapers happening right now. We'll see exactly if they can get to the back line, shred those tanks. Of course, Reaper is absolutely phenomenal getting in behind and just wrecking any of the warriors, but both teams just running the single warrior. In the past, we've seen a lot of the Reinhardt paired with maybe Zarya. Sometimes you see the Roadhog in play, but it's just Reinhardts for either side. Very quickly, we do see Misfits is able to get on the point, and they're slowly but surely getting towards that first tick marker. But we do have Pharaoh going on, and actually gets taken out very quickly there. Nicely done by Cryu, but he's gonna have to get a little bit more done. No, he's gonna end up falling. Misfits backing away. The Deadeye coming on out from McCree, and Reinhardt will be walking his way back. Okay, we'll see what Zapray can get done here. On the offense, great flashbang, but he gets picked off the moment he does that. The shield there from Reinhardt a little bit late, and Lucio trying to get the team the heals that they need. Looking over on the defense side, they're going to be getting back in position. Everyone's back up. They held super nicely. That single tick did not get picked up here on point A for King's Row. And I like their nice synergy of the stickers on the wall. Okay, we do see the beat being dropped here for the offense. They're pushing on in. Deadeye once again is being cast. And it's in a great position, but the shield, there's too much. Great charge going in. Reinforce is taken out by Skipjack. And this is going to be dicey. Misfits finally getting a nice position on the point, and Earthshatter hitting absolutely nothing here from Skipjack. And we see the res just came out here from Mercy, burning that ult, trying to keep the push going on, empowering the Barrage, which is going to pick up a couple kills here. And the dotted eye from Reaper, and doesn't seem like it's going to do too much. Actually getting 0 kills from that Death Blossom from the Reaper player. All right, Reinforce just can't seem to get himself a strong position, but the point still quite hasn't been capped here from Misfits. 2 minutes and 40 seconds left on the clock for point A to be capped, and we just see everyone on the side of Misfits regrouping, getting ready for a big push. In terms of ultimates, it's really just the Death Blossom available right now. Mercy builds meter so very quickly, so she'll have that res before long, but that's not really enough for a really strong engage. We're going to have to see the power boost going in. They're going in with the Lucio boost, getting the shield up in the front. They get the double kill here in the front here on the side of the Pharah, but the res is coming in for the defense. The point nearly captured. The Justice not going to be enough to take them apart. She gets picked up quickly, and the offensive res there coming out on the side of the Veeks. Is it enough to capture the point? Somehow Rogue is managing to hold on, and it looks like they will push Misfits back. All things considered, though, this is that was a strong push. They spent, you know, a good bit of the resources. They almost have the Earthshatter. We do have the ultimate ready there for Lucio, so that's the one big power they have. But on the defensive side, I mean, we've seen Rogue just hold on to this point a lot longer than they would have expected. Less than 2 minutes left on the clock. Reinforce moving forward, just enabling Wins to just throw out all of his hit scan, just trying to chunk everyone down the best he can. And he's going in deep with the flashbang, a huge fan to hammer, doing a good bit of damage to Skipjack, but it's not quite enough. Drop the beat very early, enabling the engage. The Earthshatter once again not doing a whole lot there from the side of Skipjack. Misfits is so very close to having this point. They've managed to get 5 out of 6 members. The res is not going to be there in time, and Misfits will be the ones grabbing the point here. Now they have to push this payload across the map. Of course, this again is stopwatch mode, so we'll see exactly how well they can do with the payload. And it's just that slow little meander across the screen. Honestly, though, I'm quite impressed on the side of Rogue for being able to hold the point for that long. They're swapping things up. They're bringing a Zarya into the mix. Obviously, the power of Graviton Surge paired with the Earth Shatter can be a monstrous engage or disengage. You can just completely control that moment of the fight. We do hear the Deadeye being cast here on the side of McCree. Don't think he got anything done with that. But the Reinhardt's going into the duel mode. Tavik in the skies going forward right now. Actually gets picked off in an instant, but the res comes out from our Mercy player. And Tavik is going on and trying to duel the opposing Pharah. He's actually going to pick up the one kill. Pharah goes down looking for the Reaper. Can't quite get it, a little bit too risky, running out of ammo and engaging there with her knockback. Too Easy is going to end up falling very quickly. And they've managed to push them all the way back to where the payload began.
My ultimate is charged.
All right, Cry. I might have a Pharah bias. I enjoy watching Pharahs as they give you great view of what's happening in the battle. And Cry is just kind of scoping around, seeing what he can do so far. Just flying over the payload, getting there engaged. I like Too Easy just trying to build up some meter. He's at 91%. He's going to look for that big Death Blossom. There's a lot of great places for him to flank, especially at this point of the payload with all these corners. There's so many different angles you can come from. You can go up through the hall. You can go around the side. Too Easy considering his options, but again, he kind of choreographs exactly where he's going every time he walks around that wall. They're worried about it. They're engaging there. The Deadeye is coming out from the McCree, but not quite getting the value that he wants. They're holding with the Graviton Surge, pulling in 3 members, getting Reinforce up with the res, and breaking it down on the offense, trying to keep the push dream alive. A big Earth Shatter has been cast early here. Too Easy, going to be going into the backline and dying in a heartbeat. But the push does continue on here for Misfits, as they will be getting this next checkpoint. Tavik's corpse. Wins.
Ain't gonna dispense itself.
I assume Twitch chat is filling with lots of tours right now because this is indeed my first time ever observing Overwatch, so thank you guys for bearing with me. The push is moving on in here very quickly. This is, of course, the hardest point of this map to capture, this kind of hallway. It's easy to defend, but we've seen pretty strong pushes so far. I've actually been more impressed with the posture of Rogue ever since they were managed to capture point A. Reinforce just hugging around that corner, trying to keep the shield up, enabling that soldier to do the big damage while being empowered by their Mercy. Mercy does have her res available on both sides, so we could see that's going to be the name of the game in this engagement here, is considering that if there is a big fight, we do see a lot of ultimates going down, who can get the bigger res. Too Easy looking for the flank here on Reaper, just trying to get around to that big target, find the back line. If he can dismantle the Mercy, that's going to be a huge win for them in this push, and they might be able to end the game. Once they have the speed boost, they're actually going to drop the beat as well, trying to get in there, having to retreat, though, because of the additional shields. And the Winston is just getting decent pressure, but really Winston's just trying to build his meter himself so he can go ham with that Enrage. Flashbang just barely clipping Too Easy in the backside, but he manages to pick off wins and a huge Earth Shatter. Getting 2 members here. We see the Pharah just raining down from above. A big charge in from Skipjack trying to control this point. The res coming in from behind, and Too Easy's cleaning up everything else. That is a huge play here from Misfits, and they might be able to give themselves a massive push here. Too Easy is going ham, trying to push back the Pharah, keep them off of that point with Reinforce coming out of the gates. He might try to get on there. I don't think he can do it in time, though. And just barely getting on there to stall this out a bit longer. We do see Wins has fallen very early. Reinforce goes down. The res was actually used to try to keep Wins up. AKM gonna just go down. We see Yuno falling to Too Easy as well, and Too Easy just cleaning up the mess that is Rogue. Trying to capture this point. They should be able to do so right here. Oh my goodness, the Tracer play is barely getting on the point in the last moment. They're stalling it out for 1:40. It's going to be so very difficult to hold this. Again, this is single hero limit. So we see AKM swapping to D.Va. D.Va can stay on the point for an extended period of time, but again, the offensive res here. Skipjack is back up, and they're continuing this onslaught on the offense, but AKM, so very hard to remove him. The Rocket Barrage isn't getting the huge value they want, only picking off Reinforce there. We do see the defensive res this time. Reinforce is now immediately back alive. Too Easy popped his Death Blossom, not able to get the kill, but somehow we see Rogue is managing to hold this on. 1 minute and 8 seconds are left. But the defense is once again starting to falter. 2 members down without reinforce. That's it. The point has been picked up here, setting a pretty late time. I think that was a rather successful stall at the end. Again, this is stopwatch. Rogue brought that timer down to, maybe 50 seconds remaining on the clock. So that is very, very beatable if in the eyes of Rogue when they're on the offense for this next point. Got the play of the game here. Oh, the denial of the Deadeye and the 3-man flashbang, and then popping his own Deadeye. Nice stuff there. The system itself will give you so many points towards play of the game in the event that you actually land a flashbang on multiple people. Denying ultimates also gives you a lot of priority towards getting that quote-unquote play of the game. So, well deserved there. A good game number 1 on the side of Rogue, I would say. Misfits setting a, they set a time. They finished the map, but it's not an unbeatable time, that's for sure. Again, this is the semifinals of the Acer Pro Challenge, ladies and gentlemen. And this is currently game number 1 of our first best of 5 in the semifinals. And then we have another best of 5 happening immediately after. We'll go on a nice little tour. There's all fun little things here on the map. There's so much character with each and every map in this game. And if you guys haven't seen the YouTube video about this window where you can see, oh, look how nice it is in there, and then there's not actually a window. There's just a lot of little funny things that exist here as well. I wonder if real cities in the real world do that same kind of fake window thing. I truly don't know, but I could see it happening in Disney World. Okay, well, this time we have indeed swapped sides, so let me just get that set up here. All right, so Rogue is on the attacking side with Misfits on the defense. And I didn't happen to catch the time.
Hello. Hello there.
I'm going to see if I can figure out what the time was.
I ain't much for waiting around.
A moment to enjoy some peace and quiet. Probably just a moment, though.
Believe the admins are in here. 8:54. All right, 8:54 is our time, ladies and gentlemen.
Did someone call a doctor?
And, well,
be careful out there.
apologies. We'll get that sorted in just a bit. We'll just have to remember 8:54 is the time to beat and in this point, it's going to be tough for Misfits to hold on that long, but they are more than capable of doing it, that's for sure. Very quick start here on the side. Navik's getting the empower there onto Farah, and we see Cry on the defense, just picking up a few kills early. Now, some differences to note that this time around, there's actually the offensive side. Rogue does not, they're not running the lone Reinhardt that we saw for point A on offense. They're actually running Zarya, Winston, and Roadhog. So it's triple tank. Now, Winston, they might end up swapping out in a little while. I don't know if there's any big targets that Winston's going to be diving and looking for. Winston's great for sticking out to one of those targets, trying to pick off that Mercy, sure. But I feel like there's some other options that could work nicer. We do see AKM going down pretty quickly here from Cry. The Genji is going to town on the point to Veek, and we're trying to go around the back potentially. We see High Noon being cast. He's just being very careful, realizing that's out. He does have his ultimate ready, but he immediately gets hit by the flash bang of Zapray. Nice denial there. His ultimate did get saved though, so even though he was casting the animation, it wasn't fully complete. He didn't actually have the sword completely out, so he does have that available still. If that flashbang was held on for a little bit longer, it's possible that he could have denied some of the meter of that ability, but not the case here right now. Tavik still has that ult, like we said. He's going to be looking for a big play with it, and he's getting speed boosted in. Can see what he can do. Justice coming down from Farah, but goes down quickly here to Tavik. He still has that ulti available, but he's got to be careful. Flashbang would ruin his life. Popping the deflect actually does manage to get Zapray, this time revenge, but there's no health pack, 4 health remaining. Does end up going down. The res coming in on the defensive side. That's going to allow them to hold, and that's the difficult thing here on the side of Misfits, or excuse me, Rogue, because they really need to have that res to keep the engage. Otherwise, what they're looking to do is set up a huge engage. Oh no, there's a disconnect. That's not good. So they have no Zarya based on that. Now, what I was going to say, Wins has left the game, and we have a new owner of the game. But basically, without that res to keep the fight going, they need a hard engage. They need to clump people up with something like a Graviton Surge. They need to hit a huge ultimate with Reinhardt and just kind of make the plays happen quickly. You can see that right now, Rogue, they're not looking to rerun defend of Misfits if both teams agree, is what they're saying. 8:36. I don't know if we're having a new game, but obviously Rogue is refusing to attack without their 6th. Wins has left the game. He's stuck in the lobby. They're saying they're trying to get him back on in, and this is very unfortunate. Obviously, having a player disconnect. It seems like people are dropping out. Well, at least we're getting to watch a sausage get punched in the face. That's what we're all here for. With a box of Lucio O's. Completely unplayable, that serial art. Blizzard will fix it someday. And it looks like Wins in. They're back in, and we're gonna keep playing. There's no restart. It looks like we're gonna continue on with this game, ladies and gentlemen, and we will see if both teams agree. I guess they were considering a restart, but not gonna be the case here. They're engaging with Drop the Beat. The Death Blossom not doing a whole lot. Too Easy just gets the single kill on a Roadhog for the defense, and the barrage coming from above. I just don't know if it's enough. They didn't really manage to get anyone. The res is even still available. They threw everything they had, and they got almost no return. Tavik no longer on Genji, going to be playing the Pharah at this point in time, and they are down to just one final push of desperation with almost no meter left. They have half meter for Graviton Surge, but that's about it. This first map, which was looking very good for Rogue, having a disconnect might not be going too well for them after all. And, well, we see they're trying to get this point desperately. The charge goes in, Reinforce picking up a kill, but Reinforce goes down himself. Tavik incredibly low on the opposite side, and Zapre will get blown up there. But Tavik gonna just desperately trying to fight, control this point. They still have to worry about that defensive res, which will be coming in before long. We can see Reaper coming from the upper hallway. Almost half this point's been picked up, but here comes that resurrection from the Mercy. Graviton Surge used as a response and picking up some kills. Greatly done there from Tavik, getting the kill aerial bound, and it looks like they might actually be able to get this point with those pickoffs. Very nicely done. Somehow Rogue is managing to stay in the game, but they have a ton of ground to cover, and they need to do it very quickly. In terms of changes on the opposing side, it doesn't look like there are too many. Lucio pushing a little bit far forward, going to take some damage from Tavik, but Tavik needs to be careful himself, even with the Pocket Mercy. He's pretty far forward. He's trying to just build that meter for that ultimate. Wow, he actually gets the prey very quickly here in this engage, going forward, trying to give them that escort for the payload, and they're speed boosting on for the res being cast there. Skipjack's going to end up falling, but the payload is still quite a ways away. Cryo's going to end up falling, and Tavik making some plays happen for the team. Res now available, being cast here by Navik, trying to keep this push on forward. Their payload does need to cover a ton of ground with the entire defense here just waiting. Spending that res is nice because, like, sure, that's not going to be available for a little while, but Mercy, she's already built 12% of that meter. They do have that Deadeye available here. They're going to be looking for that if they can find that big opportunity. Going deep, throwing out the flashbang. The Death Blossom does pick off Zapre before it can even consider using that Deadeye. Very nicely done. Tavik now flying on above, going to try to pick off Mercy. She's a little bit slippery, but he does manage to get the kill. No meter for her for a while, and that's going to enable a big push here. The entire team has fallen. The payload is pushing on forward, and they might be able to actually secure this pretty soon. Now, remember, they need to do this very quickly. I don't know the exact time remaining, but it's not great considering that they did go into overtime on that first point. I believe they have about a minute and a half, maybe a bit more, to seal the deal here in this game. All right, well, Tavik is going in once again, getting some big damage, gets the trade there with the other Pharah. Cryo's going to go down, and then we do see Lucio using that defensive ultimate, trying to keep the team alive. The res coming in on the offense side here. A big Graviton Surge, and that's going to enable an absolute obliteration from Tavik. 5 members have fallen on the side of Misfits. That is an entire team kill here, and Rogue might be able to get themselves all the way up. Now, we're going to see some swaps happen. You might see a Tracer, you might see a Diva. No, they're not doing it. They're not using those Desperation heroes to just get on the point and stay on the point. They're just keeping with their composition, realizing they can just speed boost, get out there very quickly, but they're not responding to Tavik. Tavik is just raining down. Zapray falls very early. We do see the Skipjack going to end up falling, so that's their warrior. Their tank in the front line, not going to have him. Zabashi going down. Cryo's going to fall, and this might be it. Rogue might have secured this, even with the disconnect and a ton of time burned. Wow. Okay, well, that's well played by them. Like, seriously, they came back. And, you know, I have to give them a lot of props when you consider that there's a lot of, like, mental stress that comes with having a disconnect and then losing a lot of your time in those kind of moments. There's no way to pause in Overwatch yet. Custom games do not have a pause feature. And without the ability to actually just go in and just say, yeah, let's just wait for him to come back, you have to just kind of let your time burn down. And fortunately for them, they were able to get together and get the point and get the push on in. So they beat the time by probably about a minute. I'm not exactly sure, but you know, that's a big pickup here for Rogue getting the first point here in this best of 5 series. Well, guys, once again, my name is Solid Jake. This is my first real Overwatch cast, especially solo and production. So thanks for tuning in, and thanks to GosuGamers for having me. A bit of a last-minute ordeal where we just kind of got everything set up moments before the actual broadcast was supposed to happen. But I'm glad to be here with Overwatch. Looks like they'll be deciding the next map very soon, and they're just some people are just relogging, making sure that they are ready to roll. Making sure their settings are all good, they're logged in, and there won't be any more disconnects, ideally. While we are waiting, we can take a look at the bracket. We can see that this is, again, Rogue versus Misfits. Rogue currently leads 1-0 in this best of 5 series, and after this, we have the other semifinal between Creation and Reunited in the Acer Pro Challenge. Pretty impressive game from Rogue there, I gotta say. I was impressed that they were able to pull that off. I was so worried when you see disconnects like that happen. Like, it's heartbreaking. But 1-0 Rogue, and we are moving on to Numbani for the second game. Gonna tell them that I am good to go. And we will be jumping on into Numbani very soon. As always, guys, please be sure to follow the GosuGamers channel. They do tons and tons and tons of Overwatch content. You can follow my co-caster, Diva. I didn't have a single caster scene ready, so I just slapped a Diva in there because Diva is bae. Let's face it. She is. She is. And follow us on Twitch, follow us on Twitter. It's just at GosuGamers on Twitter as well. And there is a Overwatch-specific Twitter, which the URL I am not going to try to remember. It's probably _OW or Overwatch, if I had to guess correctly. You can follow me at SolidJakeGG on everything. I produce a Overwatch podcast every week with Ask Joshi and Spo, and we bring on various guests. We should be having Tailspin on from Team Envious this coming week. He should be joining us. We do the show Thursdays at 4 p.m., but we might be changing our time slot for the next several weeks due to the Atlantic, which is another Overwatch event happening, and we don't want to coincide with the same exact time slots as Overwatch competitions, as our focus is discussing the events that happen in the Overwatch community and getting the opinions of players as they do balance changes and tweaks throughout. We talk a lot about just, you know, tournament rule sets, different hero balance. This past week, we were talking a lot about Zenyatta and potentially how they could make Zenyatta a little bit better. He has picked less, and based on some stats that we read on one of the websites, he's picked less than 1% of the time of all the heroes, and that is very low, whereas the highest picked hero is picked like 12% of the time, which I think was Lucio. So definitely, I think Blizzard actually put out an official statement stating that, hey, maybe Zenyatta does need some love, and it was just fun to theory craft exactly what kind of changes they could make to the hero to bring him a little bit more viability when it comes to the higher level of play. Sure, he's fun to play in quick play. He's got a cool kit, but definitely has some flaws. Maybe it's his mobility that's the issue. Maybe it's just the fact that he cannot cast abilities while using Tranquility. Who knows? Should be starting game number 2 in just a moment. Just waiting for all of the players to give the ready up, and now we are entering the game on Numbani here for this semifinal between Misfits and Rogue.
Prepare to attack.
All right, well, it looks like Misfits will be on the offense, so we're just going to swap that up really quick. And Rogue will be the team defending this time around. Compositionally, looks like they might be going for the Zarya Roadhog. They're doing this again. This is pretty much the composition they did last game. I can't remember if Wins was on Soldier exactly, but more or less, this is the triple warrior comp that they did. They did the Winston, they did the Roadhog, they did the Zarya.
I've had some bad
On this map,
experiences.
especially for point A, at times we see teams bust out Torbjorn, and they'll set up Torbjorn's turret on the bridge just above, usually right around here, because it's quite defendable. Or sometimes even down here, you'll see a Bastion. And neither team's looking to do that. Actually, we've seen little to no Widowmaker at all as well. If you look at some of the events happening, there was a North America tournament happening just last night. We saw tons and tons of Widowmaker play. It's funny how some teams are happy to bust her out in most situations, and other teams are only going to play Widowmaker in very, very specific scenarios in which they're confident that they can have a high impact with that hero, because Widow, sure, she excels at picking off certain heroes, but she also struggles with things like Winston diving onto her and just eliminating her very quickly. Both teams do have a Winston in this scenario, so I guess either side might be rather happy that they're opting to not choose a Widow. We'll see what Cry can do here on his Pharah. Just trying to fly in, get some nice poke, build up some meter early, and they are going in hard. Winston diving in very quickly with the Genji, getting the aerial kill very early onto Tavik. So Tavik not going to be here with that Pharah. Gets a very strong pickoff for the side of Misfits. Misfits once again have gotten themselves a commanding position on the point very early. The question is, will they be able to keep up the aggression? So far, they managed to pick off the 2 members, actually make that 3-4 now with Winston going down, and the Soldier going to end up being bullied back, but he manages to trade with the Genji player soon. Yeah, that's a quick point. That's the payload going to be pushed here any moment now. We do see Tavik trying his best to stay alive, but going to be unsuccessful in doing so. The resurrection from Navik's going to allow them to just push on in very rapidly and try to snowball this payload as far forward as humanly possible. It does take a little while for the payload to start moving its little, not even wheels, I guess it's a hovercraft, so I don't know what it's moving. It's little thrusters, but it is going to make its way in slowly. So we're going to have to see what Rogue can do on the defense. Obviously, they don't want to lose the point that quickly. This payload's now, you know, the name of the game. Just keep this payload from being pushed in. They would need to sell it as long as humanly possible. And I think a big part of that was just the fact that they lost Tavik immediately. I mean, Tavik is a playmaker. Tavik really does bring in a lot of the damage, pick up those kills quickly. So without him for that entire initial push, it just felt like they didn't have the you know, impact that they could fight back with. Soon going in deep for Nox, trying to find the Lucio to keep those healers dead, but with the Mercy and Lucio, they're pushing back in. Tactical Visor is also being cast here on the side of Wins, and he's getting a lot done here for the defense. Manages to get Skipjack. No more Winston here for this push, and that's going to be a nice hold for the side of Rogue. They're looking for that Tracer. They know she's whipping around somewhere, and she is just absorbing so many bullets. But that's going to be the end of Zafre's life as he does eventually get found by the defense side of Rogue. Now let's go ahead and take a look at Zafre respawning. I would rather watch Skipjack here. Waiting to push in. They just kind of want to make sure they have everyone. There's a prey coming out of the spawn point, and they're going to be looking to make something happen soon. Skipjack taking a lot of poke from afar, keeping his shield ready. What do they have for their ultimates? It's really just the sound barrier of Lucio. Skipjack's going to fall very quickly. Great play there by AKM, diving on in and getting the kill from behind. Tracer just so good at penetrating the back lines. And that that's going to enable just Wait, what? Did somebody go around the back and push the payload? Oh my goodness. I thought I heard the sound effect and I was a bit confused, to be completely honest, and I guess Tavik went around the back and or something and picked up the point. Well, the res is going off here. Justice coming from above, doing a lot of damage for the defense, but it doesn't seem like it's enough because Misfits is just chasing on in here. We do see Zapre picking up the kill there and forcing them back. Only 4 members remaining. Everyone's starting to respawn, but this payload has been pushed forward so very far with 6 minutes and a half remaining on the clock. Should be able to see a strong time set here. No changes have been made to the composition, really. We see AKM still on that Tracer. No Diva picked up quite yet. They're going to just try to fight this straight up with the composition they've been running for the last short while. Lone Roadhog right now, we see the drop in the sound barrier very quickly. The enrage here from Winston Zapre just trying to deny that Roadhog the safety of the push the way he was, but we have Soldier now ultimating, just doing the best he can with the aimbot. But again, that Winston ultimate, he's just going to bully him back and actually pick him off very quickly. Mercy not able to build up enough meter for her res, only Reinforced and Tavik are left. Reinforced just now respawning. I don't even think they can get to the point in time. That's going to be a very fast time here set on the side of Misfits.
Play of the game.
Reinforce. That was embarrassing. Zapre here. This is probably that last ultimate. Yeah, just kind of knocking a aimbotted Soldier into the wall, forcing him back, picking up the double kill there at the end, securing the victory. Winston's a pretty good hero, guys. Oh, well played. That's going to be a tough time to set. Match time was 4:13 remaining on the clock. And we'll get ready to swap sides. So Rogue, they were able to come back in a scenario where they had a disconnect. On King's Row, it seemed like hope was lost, having to sit in a 5v6 where they weren't even trying to fight. They were just kind of sitting there waiting it out, and then they went in with a big push. That almost worked, but the second push follow-up managed to secure the point on King's Row, point A, and then they just pushed it all the way in. On the defense here for Numbani, they had a kind of quite the opposite story. It just felt like they got rolled over. Somebody slipped into the backline, pushed the payload onto that point, causing them to scatter and scramble around to figure out what to do, but they were so oddly positioned in that scenario that they got caught out of position. And multiple people just kind of got ripped apart, and the staggered respawns of people trying to dive and get on in. Too many people fell to the Mercy ultimate ability, and or excuse me, to the Pharah ultimate ability, and Mercy's res had that huge impact at the end. So it was definitely a bit of a struggle there for Rogue trying to defend this. We'll see if they can actually set a similar time. I would be thoroughly impressed if they can.
I'll enjoy the quiet while it lasts.
Once again, guys, this is the semifinals of the Acer Throw Challenge.
King of beauty.
All right, so we mentioned the Torbjorn as a possibility here for the defense. It's exactly what we're seeing on the side of Misfits. You put the Torbjorn turret right up here. It's very defensible, and I like the fact that they have everyone up here because you can't just put the turret alone. You got to make sure that you give it some kind of assistance. So you're going to have other heroes positioned around that turret to make sure it's a very hard thing to get to. Winston, in this case, is going to be the warrior of choice to sit up there. There are some scenarios where we'll see a Reinhardt Bastion. Winston can very well work in these scenarios. But Reinforced is well aware of this with the offensive Bastion enabling that. So it's like kind of a battle of the turret bros with a Bastion and Reinhardt in the front, but it looks like the Bastion's not going to be able to get as much done as he might like. He's getting the few heroes in the top part of the map. He actually gets in the beaks, which is a big deal, so there's no mercy for this defense. And actually, just like that, looks like Rogue will quickly grab the payload. It's even faster than what we saw on the side of Misfits for their offense. But remember, they managed to push this pretty darn quickly. We'll see if the Bastion-Reinhardt combo is enough. for this play. In terms of ultimates, they are pretty darn close to the res. They almost have the tank there for Bastion as well. And Death Blossom will be ready before you know it, even though it's only at 79% right now. Any quick pickoffs? No. Even with the damage amplification there from Mercy, not going to be able to get anyone too quickly. They're just poking their heads around the window, realizing they're taking a bit too much damage. Ooh, a nice little flashbang being cast there, forcing Tavik into his tank mode, but he manages to get Soon very quickly. As a result, trying to trade out. We see Zebosai going down actually as well, and is going to be able to pick up Zapre. Looking to keep this payload moving. It has not stopped yet. Justice coming from above, but it's not going to be enough as Cryo is going to end up falling. And Tavik is making the plays happen with this offensive Bastion. It's a new trend. You know, a lot of people have always joked that Bastion's a hero that's designed for low-level play. Not at all the case. He's been used quite effectively paired with Reinhardt on the offense across all regions in recent events. And, well, we're seeing exactly why here from Tavik. For the defensive side, really all they have is, well, Nevix has that ultimate ready. He's got his Resurrection, and Skipjack just about has his Earth Shatter. So they're going to be looking for the money Earth Shatter for the engage. They're going in from above, trying to make it happen. Earth Shatter's ready with a shield, denying him what he wants. An AKM from behind gets a beautiful Death Blossom, just shredding through the health bars of everyone there. We do see AKM still trying to hold on to dear life, picks up one of those Death Globes, and he's still standing. And the break it down from Lucio, going to enable a very strong offense. We see the flashbang from behind, almost enough. The damage amp from Mercy not actually enabling the kill there on AKM, surprisingly, and reinforced with a huge charge onto Skipjack, picking him up very quickly. Lucio stuck in this hallway. It's the last place I want to fight a Reaper, and Reaper duels soon will be the one to win. So that's one small victory for the defense, but the res comes out on the side of Rogue here for the offensive push, and the payload is nearly on the point. Has Rogue actually secured themselves another faster time here on the payload, just like that. They're so very close. We see Skipjack has swapped from Reinhardt over to the Diva, trying to have that double health bar, but he just melts to the Reaper of AKM, and the payload has made it to the checkpoint. GG. Rogue takes another faster time here on Numbani.
Play of the game.
Tavik with that play of the game, man. That offensive Bastion, definitely the play of the game. Oh, we didn't even see this moment. We were watching the Reaper, but he's got that damage amp, and he is just melting everything that goes near the point. They're trying to fight the things on the point. Oh, no. Wow, absolutely brilliant play there. Rogue currently up 2-0 in this best of 5 series.
Epic.
Yeah. I don't even remember the time for the first one. This is why I'm so anxious for Stopwatch to exist in the game, because, well, I really need to find a system for myself. Obviously, this was a pretty last-minute production, but to just kind of have the score always exist on the screen in a more automated sense. But they should have been the victors there. Yeah, I believe it definitely felt faster than the time set by Misfits. And yes, we do have Rogue asking Misfits what their map will be. Losing team decides, confirming that was indeed a faster time and a 2-0 lead right now for Rogue. Once again, guys, welcome to the stream. My name is Solid Jake. Solid Jake GG is my Twitter, and I'm pretty new here in the Overwatch casting community. I've been a Heroes of the Storm commentator for over a year now, casting events like BlizzCon and some of the bigger regionals and national events. But Overwatch is kind of my new baby. I do a podcast once more with Ask Joshi and Spo, where we talk about the competitive Overwatch scene every week. The show is called Town Hall Overwatch. It has an MP3 version, and it does have a YouTube version, which exists on my YouTube channel. And Overwatch, you know, I'm going to be doing a lot of casting moving forward, but still very much in the learning stages, especially when it comes to the observing side of things. So thank you all for tuning in and bearing with one of my inaugural casts. This is my inaugural production of doing an Overwatch event, and we will definitely be improving and growing over time. Dorado is going to be game number 3 here with a 2-0 lead currently in favor of the boys at Rogue. Once more, just taking a look at the bracket before we do hop on in. You can see that this is the first semifinals, currently 2-0 in favor of Rogue versus Misfits, and the Creation versus Reunited are on deck. We'll be playing after this for our other match of the day. Both of these are, in fact, the best of 5 events. And one of my cats is currently going crazy about a bird outside. Congratulations, cat. I hope you kill that bird someday. Dorado, we are loading on in. I believe we're going to have the attack on the side of... yes, it is once again going to be Misfits attacking first. Alrighty. Well, Dorado, another staple here in the Overwatch, seeing this map. I mean, payloads in general, pretty darn popular. Just have great balance, gives each team a good opportunity to prove who's better. You know, just having it's like a race, right? When it comes to stopwatch, it's all about just setting the faster time, showing that you can engage and secure points. There's different points which have different strategies and different hero compositions that work, which create diverse gameplay, and it's a lot of fun. Tavik, though, he is a Pharah master. He's been sticking to that hero for the most part today. We saw him on the Bastion in that last game. We saw him a bit on Genji. And we've had the staples of the Lucio Mercy almost every single game. I don't know if you guys saw the teaser that the Overwatch Twitter tweeted out about Sombra, the new hero coming out. They teased her gun. They tweeted out a bit of a blueprint. Basically, it's a healing sniper rifle. And if there's a world where I can get headshots that heal for bonus damage as a sniper, oh my goodness, I am going to be so very satisfied with that because it just sounds insane. So who knows? I know they're revealing new info about a new hero at Comic-Con just under 2 weeks from now. I think Blizzard is doing a panel at Comic-Con down in San Diego, July 21st, I believe. It's very soon. I know that much. All right, well, we'll see exactly what Misfits can do if they can get a point on the board here. They're down 2-0 to Rogue, so it's been a bit of a struggle. They've got the payload up to where they want, but that's because Rogue, of course, not stepping out beyond this choke. They know they just want to wait. It's just a lot safer to defend the choke point than it is to make yourself vulnerable, where there's so many more angles to be attacked from if you push out beyond that choke. Payload tends to just get stopped right there. Reinforced going to be trying to go in from the left side, it looks like, on his Reinhardt. And yeah, he's just covering that flank there. Again, the skipjack going on forward. Reinforced looking for the defense. And he's going to be charging on in. The rocket barrage going to be denied very quickly by Zebosai. Nicely done. And Navix goes down very quickly there to the Reinhardt. Everyone I click on seems to die. That's because the entire offense has been absolutely evaporated. Navix has just a shred away from that ultimate, now available, but unable to get the big money res that he's looking for. A nice hold here on the side of Rogue. Misfits now re-engaging with the res, can do a bit more. The sound barrier almost ready as well, so they can definitely try to make something happen. We're going to just see Zebosai trying to build up some meter and get ready for that big sound barrier. All right, Tavik in the back, looking to hold this. We do see the Deadeye actually not able to do anything. Skipjack went very far forward, quite far away from the rest of his team, and he will end up falling as a result. But Soon is holding on to dear life, not able to keep that up. Skipjack getting a res from their Mercy. Navix just spent that ultimate to keep the push alive, trying to get this point, but the sound bear from behind, and oh no, Skipjack just hits the curb. Scoop Kid just denies his dreams and hopes there, and we see everyone on the side of Misfits just backing away. Zapre still has that Deadeye available. He's going to be looking for a flank with that, but he's even just getting kind of just out-traded from afar. Needs those heals, and he gets them promptly. Really just the Death Blossom and the Deadeye available. Soon is sitting in this bridge above, waiting to drop down. Obviously, he has a few options he can look for, but it's going to be hard to find that money. Death Blossom almost have the justice for Cry W, but he's incredibly low as well. There's the Death Blossom going off. but I think that was actually AKM using his and picks up a few kills. The double kill with the Death Blossom with Cryo, but Tavik actually picking up one, and here is the res for Zapray to keep the push alive. Pretty far from that sound barrier, but it looks like we might actually have Misfits finally securing point A here on this map. All right. Dorado, point A secured here for Misfits. And we have Zapray actually swapping it up. He's going monkey life. Winston has been picked up here. Defense side, they've got Deadeye, they've got the Resurrection, and they have got Justice ready for fair. Reinforce getting picked off very quickly. And we'll take a look. Let's see what CryW can get done here on the offense. A lot of people up on that perch, not able to do anything, ends up getting picked off rather quickly. Skipjack with the shield. So afraid of the monkey, it seems. Trying to keep him at bay. But Misfits is getting a lot of pressure, a lot of push done with this payload. They're slowly but surely edging it along as everyone on the side of Rogue is just trying to use that, basically the height. They've got the high ground. It's like, you know, they're using that to their advantage in every instance. The entire team is up here just raining hell from above on their enemies. AKM looking at the monkey. We see the Death Blossom being used below. Not doing too much. Gets the kill on Lucio and McCree, but it's not the biggest of deals. AKM can't really safely ultimate here. As Winston falls, yes, he's going to get a lot done with it. And paired with the ultimate of Pharah, that is a ton of damage. A great defense here on the side of Rogue. Just about every ultimate except for the sound barrier was used here.
Get out of my way or I'll run you over.
An old man soldier is dealing with nobody's shenanigans today because he is ready to just drive you over with his truck, just like the Uber driver at PAX East. Yeah, I mean, the guy just had to stay true to his character. All right, Zapray's got that monkey madness ready. Just gonna give him the Grape Ape strats. He's going in. He finds him on the bridge, and he wants to knock them down, but he's not willing to actually cast it right away. He's worried he'll get burned down too quickly from the McCree. McCree, of course, is quite the threat. We see the sound barrier being cast, but from behind, there's a big Justice just chunking through everyone's health bars, and everyone was fixated on Zapray, on Winston. Not able to get a lot done. Navik still does have that ultimate available, but she's just now respawning, so she's not going to be able to get that resurrection that they want. They're just going to have to fall back and try again with a full-on reset push. Looks like Wins is back in action. The entire team of Rogue is back, ready for their defense, and they're sticking to their high ground, staying on this bridge. Now, what I was expecting to see out of Zapray was him to actually use his ultimate just to knock people down, get them off this bridge, because they've had such a strong utilization of the high ground. And if they can deny that of them, maybe they can make a difference in their push. Sure, their payload's made a bit of progress, but not a ton, and Zapray immediately knocked back there from Nox knockback. But now they're back down, trying to defend the point on the bottom. We see the Earth Shadow used from Reinforce, but Reinforce will end up falling almost immediately after. And this speed boost, just trying to get away from Soon. They're good in doing so. Skipjack will fall. Rogue once again holding the point with less than 2 minutes left to capture this next checkpoint. At this point, it's getting a bit desperate. They need to get one massive push in. Sure, the payload is very close, but time is certainly running low, and they're not getting the big kills that they desperately need. They need to try to get down, very quickly in these fights. That the Mercy reses have just been insanely impactful, and it's ready once again. Tavik and AKM both have their ultimates. They've been lining them up super nicely, and it actually sounds like Tavik might be getting ready for the defense. He's going to go around the side here. Just watch as they all move in. Trying to knock the tank down. He does actually manage to get a Skipjack down grounded away from the rest of the team in a bit of an odd position, and that actually enables Reinforce to go in with the charge and pick up the kill. Did end up falling in that. We said that needed to end up dying early because the res had too much impact, but unfortunately they weren't able to get in position to really capitalize on that, and they got exactly 0 pit push as a result. All right, Tavik still just flying above, doing his best. We have Soon running along the side, trying to poke down that Mercy. Actually looking at McCree, and drop the beat has been used. The Justice doing a lot of damage to Soon, but he trades effectively with the heals there, and the amp from Mercy. A big push on into the point. Zapray going in the back, trying to get rid of that AKM, but the heals are a little bit too much there. And Skipjack hit it by that stun at the last moment. Can they do it? Only 3 members still standing. Reinforced, still on that point with that shield, stalling as long as he can. He's actually not on the point. He needs to move in a little bit closer, but he can't seem to do it. He's charging in, but he goes too far. And the checkpoint will be captured here by... by Misfits. So very quickly, they've made the last few moments, they managed to capture that, but only 2 minutes left for this final point here today. Now this is match point here. If Rogue manages to hold this and then set a better time or make it all the way through the map, they will be the victors of this match. But so far, Misfits have struggled to really get this payload even all the way in. Only a minute and a half remaining. They're trying to get in. Zapray does have that ultimate available. Actually, they have just about everything ready, except for Skipjack, Earth Shatter, and then the sound barrier. Everything else is ready, but a big flashbang going in, forcing up that ultimate, and Zapray is just going to town. He corners the Mercy. She's in the little health pack room, but she manages to shift on out and fly to an ally. He is hunting for her, but unable to pick up the kill on Mercy. Now Reinforced actually just trading, getting the big kill. We have the res available here for her, but she's holding onto it as Justice does absolutely nothing because of the shield of Reinforced, deflecting just about every single missile that came their way, and they're even pushing on forward. The payload has been held. It did get rather far into the room, but only a minute remaining. In terms of ultimates for the side of Misfits, they don't have a lot in the bank. They need to build some meter, and really they need those damage ults, Soldier and Pharah. They need to get those ultimates so that they can actually make the plays happen. Having a sound barrier is nice, but if you can't actually capitalize with it, does it even really matter? Once again, Rogue just kind of opting to utilize the high ground as much as humanly possible. We see Zapray does dive into the backline, trying to make something happen, but no, he dies very quickly. Skipjack charging into the wall, hoping to get Reinforced, but does not manage to do so. And Reinforced turns around with the Earth Shatter. He has no health, but he did manage to get the Earth Shatter and a few hits there with his Fire Strike, and but not quite enough, it seems, as the defense is just a bit too strong. 5 seconds remaining. That should be GG. It looks like Rogue will have held the point from Misfits here on Dorado. Yeah, they're asking for a time on the second point, and I'm actually going to, if they know it, because I do not.
It's Hanu.
Oh my goodness. The dream. They all scattered as soon as the shield was not like on them perfectly. They just kind of got evaporated. Duck hunt status. Well, I'm going to wait for the admins to give us a time for the second point here on the map, and we'll know that's what Rogue has to beat. So if they can beat the second point time, they'll win. If they can complete the map, regardless, they win. But we just got to wait for official word on that. Once again, guys, this is the Acer Pro Challenge semifinals with Rogue up 2-0 versus Misfits, and they are now swapping sides, so we'll swap our graphic, and bam, Rogue will be attacking, trying to defeat the time set by Misfits just moments ago for the second point. They did not manage to complete the map, so based on what we've seen in this match so far, I'd say Misfits definitely have the uphill battle in this for the defense. Rogue has been looking very, very strong, setting insanely fast times on every single map. Even coming back after having a disconnected player in game number 1 and burning almost 2 minutes of time probably, they still managed to set a better time than Misfits was able to. So looking at it from that regard, it's going to be tough here. Everybody loves that sausage, man. I mean, is it a sausage with legs holding a leak? The only other character I can think of that holds a leak is Farfetch'd, which reminds me of how much I want to play Pokemon Go, but God, God, that leak is interestingly designed. All right, reinforced on the Roadhog. They are pushing in hard, running right past, immediately gets Soon, and that is lights out to their Reaper. So one member just immediately evaporated, but Tavik and actually went down as well. So Unko is probably the proper pronunciation of his name. Apologies, I still get accustomed to everybody's names here in the Overwatch scene, friends. All right, Hook does clip the shield there, not quite able to grab Pharah, but Zapray does end up falling from afar. Reinforced, just kind of commanding the front of this battle, and twice now, Soon has gone down to the Hook. That's very frustrating, not being able to have any impact. Navix goes down, that's no res available, even though he had the meter, and Reinforced just kind of go into town, enabling a very quick capture of the first point on this map. You gotta hand it to Rogue. That looked insanely dominant in every regard. I mean, Soon has been dominated so hard by Reinforce alone that he only has built up 45%, now 60% meter in this game. But that is just a struggle. He's just trying to farm that from afar, just throwing out whatever he can. Going, oh wow, the Hook barely missing from Reinforce, who just about has his ultimate built up at this point in time. You see he's getting back up onto the high point, trying to use the high ground just the way Rogue did in the last side of this map. Reinforce. He's going to be hunting. He's going to be going for the full fish status. He's fishing for birds, but future Earth is a weird place. All right, high noon. Oh my goodness. Zapray tries to cast the aerial high noon, but he gets pulled in. Graviton Surge paired with Roadhog's ultimate, just evaporating the team and just cryo standing. He's going to end up going down. Zapray the first one to respawn because he got that Hook death, and this could be it, ladies and gentlemen. Rogue having their little push of victory forward, the desperation to get on the point. That's exactly what we see here, but Zapray goes down before he can even blink twice. Die. The Death Blossom hitting exactly one hero. Zebosai goes down, and we do see the resurrection getting everyone back up, but I'm not sure that it matters. The defense has once again evaporated, and Rogue should have secured themselves a very convincing 3-0 victory over Misfits here in the Acer Pro League semifinals. GG. They're just gonna wiggle around. That is the game. People will leave the lobby. They'll send it back to the lobby, etc. But I think they're just gonna carry the payload all the way down so that they can see the play of the game and feel insanely satisfied with maybe some Gosu hooks out of Reinforce. I don't know. Reinforce is actually the one player out of all these guys I know in real life. He actually used to be a Heroes of the Storm observer, and it's, he's got a background in FPS, that's for sure, but it's fun to see someone so talented go from obsing a World Finals at Heroes of the Storm and then being a world-class Overwatch player, wiggling around on that Roadhog. GG. Big plays here from Rogue. Great performance in this event. I think I don't know if a lot of people expected a 3-0 over Misfits. Misfits has looked absolutely monstrous. I believe they got first place in the Atlantic qualifier just this week, which is but Rogue actually wasn't present in that tournament. So yeah, that might have been the first big qualifier, but there's 4 qualifiers in total for North America and then 4 qualifiers for Europe, and with Misfits getting first there, and now Rogue coming here in the Acer Pro Challenge and defeating them. I think that's definitely a statement that there is definitely a bit of contention for that #1 title in the European scene. Over in NA, I don't think there's anybody that really is on the same level with Envy, right? Whether Envy has a team that's up to their caliber, or maybe multiple teams that are up to the same caliber in Europe, that's still to be determined. But honestly, the Overwatch teams are all getting so much better so very quickly here now that the game is finally launched and starting to see some crazy prize funding in these events. Now, guys, up next, we do have one more matchup. Rogue did just defeat Misfits 3-0, and they'll be advancing to the Grand Finals. But Creation and United will be battling in just a few moments. But of course, we're going to throw ourselves to a quick commercial break as we prepare for the next matchup. So thanks you all for tuning in and stay tuned. We'll see you in a bit.